Joyful celebrations erupted in the streets of Damascus as chants of freedom filled the air. The flag of the Syrian rebels flew over the city. A surprise rebel offensive in Damascus caught Assad's regime off guard, and within 12 days, his rule, built over more than 50 years of brutal family dictatorship, soon came crashing down. In a video statement, rebel fighters proclaimed Damascus as liberated.
تم بحمده تعالى تحرير مدينة دمشق وإسقاط الطاغية بشار الأسد وإطلاق سراح جميع المعتقلين المظلومين من سجون النظام. إن غرفة عمليات فتح دمشق تهيب بالإخوة المجاهدين والمواطنين والحفاظ على جميع ممتلكات الدولة السورية الحرة. عاشت سوريا حرة أبية لكل السوريين بجميع أطيافهم.
Forcing Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to flee to Russia. The overthrow was orchestrated by a coalition of rebel forces whose leader called Assad's fall a victory for the entire Islamic nation. Soon, Assad's ouster sparked reactions from world leaders. While some celebrated, others urged caution. It's true that the collapse of Assad's regime has focused global attention on Syria. But with Bashar al-Assad gone, who now controls Syria and what comes next? The country's political future is beginning to tentatively take shape. The Prime Minister of Syria's new transitional government has said it is time for people to enjoy stability and calm. Also, in an interview, the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham HTS leader Ahmad al-Shara assured minorities they would be safe under its rule. But in a country with deep ethnic, sectarian and religious divisions, it seems to be a complex task. The future depends on HTS and the other factions to work together and govern responsibly. Will rebels start a political process that takes Syria to a democratic direction? Can they form a united coalition to bring stability? Experts believe that due to the multiple groups and external actors in Syria, this is unlikely to happen as they face challenges of their own.
Many Syrians are very anxious. They are watching what's happening, trying to understand what Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is today. There is clearly still militant and radical elements inside the group, but we still don't know how radical Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is today.
The leader of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham called on rebel forces to lay down their arms as Syria prepares to enter its next chapter. But only time will tell whether HTS, a former branch of al-Qaeda, can truly reinvent itself first. Syria's conflict has transformed the country's border regions. The events in Damascus have little to do with what's happening along the Iraqi border or in the southern areas near Jordan. All these areas are uncertain, with several groups involved, including the Islamic State. Given this, any disunity or ungoverned spaces will allow for a resurgence of extremist activity, raising concerns that the Islamic State could seek to exploit these conditions and make a comeback. On the other side, with Assad's fall, Iran lost its land supply route to proxies in Syria and Lebanon and may pause to reflect. Israel will prevent arms from reaching Hezbollah through Syria by continuing strikes. At the same time, Russia may shift its attention to its war in Ukraine. Internally, the situation demands extensive military and security efforts to not only guarantee the safety of civilians, but also help them rebuild and restore the country where war has left deep scars. The war claimed the lives of 580,000 people and displaced millions, making it the 21st century's second deadliest conflict after the Second Congo War. Efforts must focus on fostering economic recovery, facilitating the return of refugees and internally displaced persons, and ensuring long-term stability. But does Syria require external resistance to get started? Syrians will be quite reluctant to trust any external interference, given their past experiences with both neglect and too much meddling by external actors. However, they also realize that the country's new leaders will need to make choices, as the fall of the Assad regime could pave the way for political reform and democratization of their war-torn nation. With the absence of a responsible guiding authority, the UN Secretary General, along with his team and other nations, could lead an inclusive, comprehensive political transition that meets the aspirations of the Syrian people.
The UN is totally committed to supporting a smooth transition of power with an inclusive political process in which the rights of all minorities will be fully respected, and paving the way towards a united, sovereign Syria with its territorial integrity fully re-established.
Ultimately, Syrians who have unwavering hope from new Syria should have the right to determine their future.
ما في شعور يوصف فرحة يعني عجز لسان عنا ما عاد في خلص. واخيرا هل اول مرة ب 14 سنة بنحس بالامان، حاسين بامان، يعني رح نشوف بلدنا، لك بدنا ناخذ اولادنا ونحسسهم شو هاي بلدنا. في عنده اولادي هون اجوا قاصر، اجوا صف اول وثاني، هلا لسه 14 سنة ليك صار شاب عمره 22 سنة، يعني كثير انظلمنا، كثير فوق ما تتخيل، والحمد لله قامت هالغمة عنا.
اسعد يوم حياتنا، هيدي اللحظة ناطرينها من 14 سنة.